Hey, everybody. First of all, my condolences to the organization's friends and relatives, to the great Jerry West, who died today at the age of 86. He is known by me and you and others as, well, quite simply, two words: the logo, the NBA logo. I'll have more about him later. Jerry West passes away at the age of 86, one of the greats in American culture. Let's shift gears now to another story about what will be a legendary landmark in American culture when it's finished and open, and that is the Oakland Athletics Las Vegas ballpark. Still is yet unnamed because they haven't officially identified a naming rights sponsor, but there's a lot of time. There's a little controversy that started because a gentleman by the name of Jeremy Koo, who I do not know, wrote a paper that said essentially that based on numbers provided by Jeremy Aguillo of Applied Analytics in Las Vegas, and who has been and I believe still is a consultant for the Oakland Athletics and was staffed to the Las Vegas Stadium Authority before that, and actually in part during that, asserts that if the Athletics use the entire 8 games that they want to go around the world, basically globetrotting and playing baseball, that the loss as a result will be so substantial it will threaten the bond issue. Now, on its face, that would seem to make sense, but this is another example of where it's very important to read legislation. And Jeremy, as I noted at ZennyReport.com, made the cardinal error of trying to model out a analysis of a policy without actually reading the legislation behind it, which basically gave rise to the structure that caused him to express alarm. His idea is, hey, look, if the stadium is without the Athletics, they're not going to fill that space with something else, which isn't true. And because of that, they will lose the amount of money that Jeremy Aguillo calculates they'll make, including economic impact. The truth is that there is no one-to-one relationship between the Athletics playing a game and the resultant revenue for one specific reason, among others. And that is the sports and entertainment district and how it's shaped. Now, here is where a lot of people I have talked to have gotten into trouble, including people you would expect to know the correct answer about, well, what's the boundary of the sports and entertainment district, right? Well, the mistake that they make is that they say it's the ballpark. I say it is not the ballpark, but it's not me saying it, it's the law. The people I've talked to really should know the law. And if I told you who they were, your mind would flip. This is what the law actually says, and I'm referring to SB1. And I'm going to drill right down to the specific part of SB1 that has to do with what I'm talking about. And it's section 28, paragraph 2. Now, you can see section 28 here, right? And I am now going to drill down. There's section 28, all its glory. And I am going to drill down to paragraph 2. Okay. Oh, thank you. $20. Thank you very much, Gravity Follow Pines. That was lovely of you. Much needed. At any rate, section 28, paragraph 2, where it reads, upon receiving. I'm going to go and scroll down and read it. It goes as follows. Upon receiving notification pursuant to subsection 1, the Board of County Commissioners, Clark County, of course, shall create a sports and entertainment improvement district for the purpose of assisting in the financing or refinancing of the Major League Baseball stadium project. The Sports Entertainment Improvement District must, A, so we have section 28, paragraph 2, subsection A, be located entirely within the county and outside the boundaries of any incorporated city. Now, no, it says incorporated entirely within the county and outside the boundaries of any incorporated city. That reflects the fact that it is actually in an unincorporated area, but I digress. See that? See that? And outside the boundaries of any incorporated city. Okay? B, include only parcels of land or portions thereof on which the Major League Baseball stadium project is or will be located, and any surrounding or adjacent properties necessary for the operation of the Major League Baseball stadium project. Let's stop right there, okay? Right here. A simple read of that will tell you two things. First of all, the Sports Entertainment District is not inside the ballpark. There is no legislation that says it is. Yet I've had not one, but two people who should know better tell me otherwise. I have had to read the legislation to them both. And these are very important people. Okay? Very important people. It's alarming they didn't go back and read the legislation, but because of our conversations, they have done that, or should have by now. And so it reads again, only include parcels of land or portions thereof on which the Major League Baseball stadium project is or will be located, and any surrounding or adjacent properties necessary for the operation of the Major League Baseball stadium project. Now, here's the real kicker, okay? When I pointed that out to them, they say, well, what does that mean? Well, one person said operation means like, HVAC systems and so on. But when I actually research what that means, it means a number of different things, definitions, depending on where you go. Now, if one wants to say it needs to impact the function of the ballpark, then I would come back and say, okay, how about a giant entry and exit pavilion that has an outdoor located sports themed restaurant and a giant screen TV so that you can actually watch what's going on in the ballpark from the outside if you can't afford a ticket. And so now they want you to buy a ticket to be inside, but hey, look, if you have that screen there, the screen is within the Sports Entertainment District, right? Doesn't that sound a lot like something called Texas Live? Texas Live is the facility that is near Texas Rangers ballpark or adjacent to it, connected to it, and not far from Cowboys Stadium. Do you realize that? Okay, look, first of all, before I tell you what Texas Live brings in, all right, let me tell you that the debt service on the bond issue is $6.4 million each year over a 30-year period, okay? That's $120 million plus the bond cost, or a total of $187.2 million, or $187,200,000 over that 30-year period, all right? It's just $6.4 million. That means that if you take that $30 million, or let's have a little fun. Hey, Google, what is 6.4 divided by 30?
6.4 divided by 30 is approximately 0.21.
Okay, so that's 21% of
21% of 0.21333333.
Hey, Google, stop. Thank you. At any rate, that's 21% of the total. So there are not one, not two, but there are 14 different tax sources, okay? 14 that are slated for the Sports Entertainment District. I haven't seen where the actual percentage would, come up to where it would be 21% on the dollar, right? But it wouldn't surprise me if it were close. It's a district inside there. We're not talking about a standard tax rate where people are living somewhere and they have to pay that, right? This is different. This is different, excuse me. So at any rate, that amount, again, 21% of the $30 million that Texas Live made last year, which means such a project that I'm talking about is within the ballpark, if you will, of the kind of facility that could be built just outside to but attached to the ballpark, and a great destination for events that go on even if the A's aren't there. So maybe you're not talking about having the A's on a screen, or they could be someplace else on a screen. You can watch them as they're away. You could have another stage for a band, a local band, set up a restaurant with fantastic food, creating the right ambiance. The next thing you know, you got something going. Because where else in Las Vegas can you find precisely the kind of land use that I'm talking about right now? Nowhere. You have to go inside a hotel, to a pool, something like that. But outside, there's only one location I think of, I believe, next to the park, over there. The name just flew out of my head, but the hotel that has the Italian themes in it, or that make it up, excuse me. But even then, not precisely like what I'm talking about. And in this Texas Live configuration would be that concert place, viewing place, gathering place just outside the stadium. Under the law that I just quoted you, that can be built. It's not a hotel, and it's not a sports book. The law prohibits gambling activities and functions from going on inside the sports entertainment district. So think about what I just said there, right? Again, that facility alone could fund the debt coverage ratio, the debt coverage monies required annually for that $120 million bond issue without anything going on inside. That completely blows away Jeremy's argument. In fact, it blows away everyone's argument. And it puts an additional focus on what the real economic impact of the project is. And also, considering who I've talked to, the mistakes that were made in estimating the economic impact of the project. There's another part of the law that I think is quite interesting. I'm going to zero in on it real quick. And it reads, let's go down here. I love this part. The Board of County Commissioners may from time to time amend or modify the geographic boundaries of the Sports Entertainment Improvement District by ordinance, but any such amendment or modification must not, A, impair any outstanding bonds or revenues pledged to their payment, B, exclude from the Sports Entertainment Improvement District any parcel of land or portion thereof on which the Major League Baseball Stadium project is or will be located, or any surrounding or adjacent property necessary for the operation of the Major League Baseball Stadium project, or include within it gambling functions. That's what C reads. Okay, make it easy for you. Okay, what that means is they can only expand the district. You cannot shrink it. You cannot shrink it. What's the significance of that? It means that they really have to use that area and are encouraged to consider ways to make that area pay for itself outside the stadium, outside the ballpark. All right? And that's how it should be looked at. I submit that a number of people in Las Vegas completely missed the boat on this, and this rights the ship. This rights the ship. And Jeremy Koo made the classic mistake that people who are just against something make. They don't stop and think. Unfortunately, they've been joined by other people who've been so busy they haven't looked at the fine details, and they have staff that haven't looked at them for them. this isn't really a fine detail. This is the law. Always read your legislation. Always. Okay. Let me get your comments. First of all, Gravity Fallout, since he's commented, he says, love your perspective in all this. As I've said before, you're the only sane voice in all this. Thank you. I've had to step away from the Twitter X as it's 99% garbage. It is sad what's going on there. I don't want to belabor that too much, though. There will never be more than 2 games in one season. Who would they play? Well, you know, Gravity Fallout Pines reads, it will be just like their opening day games they played in Japan. This is addressing you, Marty. Looks like they're requesting 8 games. Guessing MLB will approve 4 games. This is not unlike the Jaguars playing in London. I agree. So, so there it is. Nothing to see here, folks, really. But nonetheless, quite necessary for discussion, if only to refute the fake news that has come out surrounding it. All right, please share this around. Subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube. RD says 30% of teams have no cap. Okay. But at any rate, I've got to close this one out, guys. Unfortunately, I'll be back later. But please like, subscribe if you haven't done so before, and share this around. We'll see you later.